Hello and welcome guys to another episode of It's a Silly World. With me, Utkarsh Saraswat, and joining me today is Sidhant Singh. Sidhant, how are you?
I'm fine, and quite after a long time, I am in the podcast.
Yep.
So, thanks for inviting me again.
Don't do me like that. Like, obviously we took a really long break,
Yeah,
and उसके बाद फिर for some reason we had back-to-back episodes with Soumya Khan.
yeah,
But yeah, you're back, and we have a lot to discuss again. As we
yeah,
usually do when like तेरे साथ podcast generally serious ही होता है.
yeah. हम
Which is
लोग अंकल टाइप है भी. जब हम दोनों बात करेंगे हमेशा either political होगा या फिर कुछ मतलब
yeah.
genuinely serious.
See, that's the one thing that I was discussing with Soumya as well in the last podcast or maybe one before that. हम लोगों का जो डायनामिक है ना वो बहुत डिफरेंट है. लाइक मैं और सौम्य हमने आज तक कभी किसी सीरियस चीज पे बात नहीं की है. एंड विद यू इट्स ऑलवेज लाइक तेरा ये ओपिनियन है मेरा ये ओपिनियन है चलो झगड़ा करते हैं.
Since childhood, it is.
Yeah, like we have been very strongly opinionated and we discuss things that actually matter. I mean, not to say कि बहुत सारी चीज जो सौम्य के साथ डिस्कस कर रहा था वो मैटर नहीं करता, but these are like more serious topics, more weighted topics.
So, like what we discuss is like Doordarshan.
Yeah. Soumya and me are more like saas bahu ki story, and this is like prime time news. That is such a bad comparison.
Yeah.
Anyways, so coming to the list of topics that we have to discuss.
Okay.
First of all is why is your voice so low?
Now it's fixed.
Yup.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to scream. I'm screaming.
See, that's the thing. Obviously, like I am very aware because last podcast was with our guest in which we discussed how we should talk and how we should do public speaking. And obviously उससे पहले तक बहुत सारे मेरे को रिव्यूज मिल रहे थे अच्छे कि why are you always shouting and stuff like that. And मैं भी बहुत ट्राई कर रहा हूँ. I am physically trying not to shout. And अगर अभी भी किसी ने बोला कि तेरा वॉल्यूम मेरे से कम है,
but mentally you are.
Exactly. Like अगर अब किसी ने मेरे को बोला, listen, anybody who is listening to this point, किसी ने भी अगर मेरे को डीएम में बोला ना, I am shouting and they are very slow at talking, I don't even care.
Yeah. That's nature, guys. He just like to be dominated in any conversation. So
fuck off. It's nothing like that. I just have a natural tendency to shout more.
Okay.
And for some reason you really don't want to raise your volume, which doesn't help either. Comparison में मैं और ज़्यादा तेज लगता हूँ. Anyways, so damn it. See, that fucked me up so bad. मेरे को अभी याद नहीं है मैं क्या बोलने वाला था.
Yeah, we have to discuss on the recent point.
Yeah. We have few things to discuss, and first is new educational policy. And it's been like 3 weeks or 4 weeks since we had the rough draft of it.
Yeah, we are Internet Explorer. We just discussed after 3 weeks.
See, this just does not help. पहले तो हम एक ऐसे टॉपिक की बात कर रहे हैं जो 4 हफ्ते पहले हो चुका है, फिर तू एक ऐसी मीम लेके आ रहा है जो ऑलरेडी इतने पहले मर चुकी है. Internet Explorer memes are dead already. Anyways,
and even the company is being sold. I just read somewhere that Internet Explorer.
Really?
Yeah. Microsoft is buying it.
Oh.
So I think so. Meme will be changed.
Yeah. There should be some changes to that.
Yeah. Okay. Coming to the topic.
Yeah, coming to the topic. Yeah. The new educational policy. So, what do you think of it? Like the amount we know right now.
I think on paper it looks very fine and very detailed. It is detailed because it has took almost 2 years to be drafted. So it is very much detailed. Each and every point and expect of the society are been touched. So it is nice on paper, but it's all about implementation. Because if you see about the 1968 policy of Kothari Commission, that also says that education minimum 6% of GDP should be allotted for education, but it can never happen. So it always there for the implementation how it happens. So
See,
that's how a policy begins.
yeah, so I don't know much about the policies that were before this, but I'm very sure the implementation of those policies must have been horrendous. Because the education that I got, the education system in which I studied, is definitely not the best.
Yeah, it was could be the worst.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, see, I would not know that because I have only known this system and the one
Yeah,
that is shown in movies.
yeah.
So maybe there's definitely a possibility that some people have it worse than us.
Hmm.
But yeah, our system was definitely not perfect and not even all that good
Yeah.
because there were just so many things that was wrong with it. Like
Hmm.
I really don't get it, the way our system works. I mean, the way the exams are conducted, the way our classes are worked, it's always about just mugging up things instead of learning them,
Yeah.
which
Like in the
which is
ages of
actually very funny. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but I want to bring this back. Siddhant, back in class 8th to 10th, we were always in the same section,
Yeah.
except for 10th maybe.
Yeah, 10th you are in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
10th.
yeah.
I don't
So,
remember actually.
so
Because we used to chill always
yeah,
together,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever section we.
So from 8th to 10th, Siddhant and I were classmates, and this fucker always used to say, uh, what was that dialogue? I can't remember.
Yeah,
It was some Three Idiots dialogue. हाँ,
like,
पढ़ाई के नहीं क्या पढ़ाई के पीछे भागो, मार्क्स तो अपने आप पीछे आएंगे एंड समथिंग लाइक दैट.
yeah. Just hangover 3 days.
I
But
really want to ask you right now, how did that turn out for you?
it, I don't think so. It has turned out to me as nicely.
Because look, we always had this discussion. I always used to argue कि हम लोगों का education this time का there's there's no real point in actually learning things. You can just
Yeah,
mug up and get better marks, and that's all that matters.
yeah.
And Siddhant was always adamant कि मैं रट्टा नहीं मारूंगा. I want to learn
हाँ,
things. I want to know
yeah,
how
yeah,
this works.
yeah. Like it's like तुमने फिल्म होते हैं ना जहाँ पे एक अच्छा पुलिस वाला होता है जो सिस्टम से लड़ता है तो
Yeah, yeah,
लास्ट
yeah.
में करप्शन से टूट जाता है. आई एम दैट प्रोडक्ट. मतलब पूरा मैंने 11 8 9 10 वही अपने दिमाग में रहा कि मैं सीखूंगा somehow मैं अच्छा नंबर भी ला देता था.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair to you, your marks were actually really good.
बट फिर जब मैं मेनली जब कॉलेज में है ना तब मुझे ऐसा था क्या सीखूं, कुछ सीखने के लिए है नहीं. लास्ट समय में एग्जाम में लाइक अभी तक मैं लास्ट समय में वही पुराने ईयर्स के क्वेश्चन लाता हूँ, याद करता हूँ, लास्ट में एग्जाम देता हूँ. लाइक मैं सोचता हूँ मेरा क्लास 8 या 7th का वर्जन मैं अपने आप पर प्रेजेंट वर्जन को क्या बोलेगा देख के.
थूक रहा होगा. Yeah, I mean, it has. See, like our current system has been that bad.
Yeah,
So the new educational policy definitely seems a much better version of it.
yeah,
And in fact, I would not even say a version of it. It's completely new actually. There are a lot of things
yeah.
that are new to us. Like there's no real upgrade. It's just new introductions.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say very good introductions at that if it is implemented really well.
Yeah, agreed.
Because things like there are things in this educational policies that you will read and you are always going to think, how is this not already there? Like ये common sense है. Why is it not already in our current policies?
Hmm.
Say things
Hmm.
like now you can drop out of college and join back and your credit will still be there,
Yeah,
and you can
that's very
pursue your degree just from where you left. which is so good for the people who had to drop out of colleges because of like financial issues and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely really good for them lot. ऊपर से मेरे को दूसरी चीज जो बहुत अच्छी लगी which was how they have divided the classes.
Yeah, it is not about science, commerce, and arts.
Yeah. And
It's nice.
Yeah, and me and my dad always used to have this conversation कि हम लोग जब क्लास 12 पढ़ने के बाद बाहर निकलते हैं, in our current system we don't really have any skill that can get us a job. हमारे पास 12 तक कोई भी ऐसी स्किल, नॉलेज बहुत है बट वो स्किल नहीं है कि हम लोग कुछ भी उखाड़ सके.
इवन ग्रेजुएशन बोल सकते हैं, ग्रेजुएशन के बाद भी शायद उतना कंपनीज में जाके हम लोग स्किल सीखते हैं.
या आई वुड एग्री. लाइक अभी मेरा फाइनल ईयर है. आई डोंट थिंक अगले साल जब मैं ग्रेजुएट हो जाऊंगा देयर वुड बी टू मच ऑफ अ चेंज अनलेस मेरी इंटर्नशिप शुरू हो.
या
एंड आई वाज एक्चुअली मेंट टू गो ऑन इंटर्नशिप दिस सेमेस्टर and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And it's all just down the drain. Anyway, coming back to the policy. So now what I really liked was they have made it a target कि by the time someone gets out of school, they will be good at least one skill.
Yeah.
Which is such a phenomenal addition and such a basic one. But yeah, it's finally good to actually have that.
Yeah. And internship, you can do internship since class 6 also. Yeah. Very nice.
Say class 8 के बाद you are kind of physically developed.
Yeah.
Like 8 तक obviously you are not, like you cannot really take much of the harsh conditions.
Yeah.
But after 8 your growth years are like fast developing. By the time you reach 10th or 11th, you have developed at least 70% of the whole growth you are going to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after 8th or 10th, you can definitely go for like industrial trainings, if not internships, like 10 to 12 day training trips, जहाँ पे तुम actually industry में जाके देख सकते हो कि तुम्हारे पास जो skill है वो कहाँ use हो सकती है, and if your skill is even valid, and if your skill is valid, then how much do you need to improve on that skill to get a particular job? Like,
and the best thing I like in this policy is like it has divided into, it is not like primary section.
Yeah.
में इतना पढ़ाएंगे, middle में इतना. It is a more better vision. Like primary section हम लोग स्टूडेंट के अपने पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट पे फोकस करेंगे, फिर उसके बाद हम लोग दूसरा लर्निंग पे फोकस करेंगे. That's very nice.
And second thing that was very good was अभी stages हैं, अभी क्लासेस नहीं है. They have made it stage, और हर स्टेज के बाद assessment. And in then
kind of board exam.
हाँ, kind of board exam. But board exam बहुत रटने ऐसा होता है. And I really hope कि ये assessment board exam जैसा ना हो. I really want this assessment to be kind of like तुम ये exam दो जो तुम्हारा, और उसमें exam में like
assessment should be taken, I think.
Yeah. And उसमें aptitude रहे कि like तुम्हारा aptitude test, तुम actually किस चीज में अच्छे और क्या चीज में successful हो सकते हो, तुम्हारा depending on your nature and not depending on your marks alone.
Yeah.
And उसके बाद after every stage there should be like a counseling session or something like that where ठीक है aptitude test हो गया on paper, एक इंटरव्यू में एक काउंसलर तुम्हें एटलीस्ट जज कर पाए कि ठीक है तुम्हारी ये चीजें बेटर है.
Yeah.
And then you actually can have an idea of okay, I am good at this.
Yeah.
Which I think was really missing because thinking about myself, मैं बाकी लोगों के लिए नहीं बोल सकता, but in my own perspective, मुझे क्लास 8 तक नहीं पता था what I am good at.
मुझे अभी तक नहीं पता.
क्लास 9-10th में मुझे रियलाइज हुआ I am decent at writing.
Yeah.
Even then I did not know कि ठीक है मैं अच्छा लिख सकता हूँ. I was like मुझे अच्छा लिखना अच्छा लगता है. And I used to write so many essays like.
Yeah. You used to be the favorite student of
yeah. Our English teacher, by the way, for the context of the listeners, my English teacher was probably the most hated teacher in the entire school.
Yeah.
and somehow I was her favorite teacher because I used to love writing. Like
Yeah.
she would come into the class and she would give weekly assignments. Like
Hmm.
today, like she used to have two consecutive classes on one of the days a week,
Hmm.
and then she will come and she will give us an assignment like, okay, here's the topic, you have to write an essay on this,
Hmm.
or there will be group discussions or speeches
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
And usually what happened was she would give us an essay to write and nobody would write.
Yeah.
At the same time I would write like two essays on
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
particular topic, and two essays will be completely different just because I had so many ideas that I wanted to write.
Hmm.
Or if she would give us a speech to write, I will write speech for five or six of my friends. I'm like,
Hmm.
teri speech ye rahi, teri speech ye rahi, teri speech ye rahi,
Hmm.
because I used to love writing on that topic.
Yeah.
And what happened was, obviously, क्लास 10 तक मुझे सिर्फ यही रियलाइज हुआ कि मुझे इसमें मजा आता है, एंड
Hmm.
आई डोंट इवन नो कि मैं इस पे कैपिटलाइज कैसे करूं.
Hmm.
Right, so when
Yeah.
11th came and my dad asked, what stream do you want to pursue?
The
My
best.
you know what my first reaction was? I am good at maths,
Hmm.
so maybe commerce, but
Hmm.
I really like history and I really like economics,
Yeah.
so maybe arts.
Hmm.
And my dad flipped the fuck out. He was like, arts कौन करता है?
Yeah.
And I'm like, ठीक है, तो commerce maybe question mark. And he was like, commerce तो तुम कर सकते हो, बट अगर तुम साइंस करोगे तो तुम्हारे पास बाद में ऑप्शन रहेंगे कि तुम कॉमर्स
Yeah.
भी स्विच कर सकते हो. एंड लाइक, आई डोंट नो मैन. See,
Yeah.
me and my
Hmm.
father don't have the best of dynamics
Hmm.
because his beliefs are very, very different to my beliefs. Like,
It is always there.
yeah,
Father
yeah,
is always orthodox. The generation gap is always there. I don't blame either you or your father, but the generation gap
yeah.
is always there.
Thing is, I don't blame him either. And
Hmm.
the majority of the conflicts that happened between me and my father is because we are two people that have very strong opinions on things, and
Hmm.
we are both very passionate about our opinions,
Yeah.
and usually those opinions are completely different.
Oh.
So when there are two passionate people discussing two things that are really that strongly oriented, there is bound to be a clash.
Yeah.
And which is what happened. Like, I really don't think taking science was the best option just because, like, maybe science was the best option because I had the potential that I did not know of.
Hmm.
But if you tell me taking science was a good option because it opens more options, I don't
It's
think that's
always.
the right reason to go for it.
Yeah. Obviously.
So anyways, that happened. I took science eventually.
Hmm.
And not just one thing that I really liked from his part was, when he made me take science, he made me take science without biology. So I do
Yeah.
agree that he actually knew parts of me,
Hmm.
because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really studied bio or had any
Yeah.
interest in biology for
Yeah.
since class 8.
Hmm.
Like, I remember very vividly in class 8, I and Remy used to go at the last benches and we
Hmm.
used to play hand crickets or tic tac toes,
Chopsticks.
chopsticks. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we were always messing around. And
Yeah.
just, and even in my tuition, like I had a tuition for all science related topics.
Uh.
Like, the teacher used to teach me physics, chemistry, and bio, all three subjects.
Hmm.
I would study physics for like 4 days a week.
Hmm.
I would study chemistry for like 2 days.
Hmm.
I would never study bio. I would study bio just before the week of exam.
Hmm.
And in that time, I was like, अब मेरे को सब कुछ रटना है. I
Yeah.
will mug up the whole thing. I will go
Hmm.
there and I will just spit it out.
Yeah.
Once in, I think, class ninth, we had the teacher. I can't really remember her name. MBBS किसको बोलते थे हम?
किसको?
MBBS.
MBBS. Yeah, yeah. She was. I don't. I
Yeah,
also
yeah,
don't
yeah,
remember her
yeah, yeah.
name, but
You
she was
get
very
the
old.
teacher,
She
right?
was very old. Yeah.
So yeah, she was our teacher for bio,
Hmm.
and there was a class assessment, and we had to
Hmm.
write 10, like we had to write a short note on bones,
Oh.
uh, on the skeleton system, and it
Hmm.
was for like 8 marks. Like it was the big
Hmm.
one of the bigger questions,
Hmm.
and I had mugged up the whole thing so well.
Hmm.
I wrote I wrote about 8 pages for those 8 marks, क्योंकि मेरे को सब याद था. And to me in my head I was like, मैंने इतनी मुश्किल से रटा है. Like
हाँ, तो हम लोग का तो दिमाग में था भी ना कि इतना मार्क्स का तो इतना
yeah,
पेज
yeah,
लिखना है,
there was
इतना
no
मार्क्स का
there
इतना
was
पेज.
no yeah, there was no concept of I have to write 3 lines for 2 marks or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how much I should be writing this, but
Hmm.
ये 8 marks का है. 8 marks is a lot, and I'm going to write as much as I know.
एवरीथिंग. इवन
And
मेरा ऐसा होता था कि जो चीज नहीं भी लिखना होता था मैं लिख
yeah,
देता
yeah,
था,
yeah,
और
yeah.
याद किया हूँ,
I
मेहनत किया हूँ, क्या क्या फालतू में
I
सुन रहे
copy pasted.
हैं.
I literally copy pasted each and every word of a note on skeleton
Yeah.
system because I had mugged up the whole thing. And you can
And
tell how much I did not study on the fact that in the very same exam, like this very exam जिसमें ये वाला question था, there was also a question to draw the diagram of sperm, which you can imagine is probably one of the easier diagrams, right?
yeah, yeah.
बट क्योंकि मैंने रटा था सब कुछ, आई हैड ओनली मग्ड अप, मैंने कुछ देखा नहीं था.
हाँ,
आई रोट 8 pages फॉर 8 marks इन अ शॉर्ट नोट. आई
हाँ.
couldn't draw a figure for 3 marks because I did not know. I'm like, how what is the structure of sperm? And I was in such a weird position that there was no one to my left
हाँ.
and Rosa was sitting to my right. And I'm like, do I even ask her? This is a weird topic.
Like हमको तो पता होना ही चाहिए.
Yeah. And I did end up asking her actually, eventually, and she did not know either. So we were both fucked.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, wow, that was such a big tangent.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We just discuss our childhood.
Yeah, this
Fuck
is
NEP, we just discuss our childhood.
This podcast is basically Utkarsh's childhood. Screw NEP, screw all the other topics that we were going to discuss. This is my childhood podcast. Anyways, so yeah, coming back to the NEP. So you see, like by the time I was in class 11, I had no idea what was going on, and even I enrolled into class 11. Like I went Vizag for coaching for JEE mains, joint entrance examinations.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows the full form. No need to elaborate so much.
No, I'm just elaborating for people who actually don't know, because I can tell you a lot of people don't know.
Okay.
Because I did not know either. So there could be, at least I hope there are people more dumb than me.
Okay.
So yeah, I was even towards the end of class 11th, I did not know what I was studying for and what JEE was. And I was kind of, like I said, I was quite close with this physics teacher. And we used to sit after classes just to discuss over how to study and stuff like that. And I used to ask, and one day I used to ask him, like, all this JEE and all the exams that I'm giving, it's written JEE model and stuff like that. What actually is JEE? And he was so shocked about the fact that I did not know what JEE was. He took 1.5 hour extra class just for me and a couple of other people to explain what JEE was. So yeah, like my education system has failed me so much that I did not know what I was studying for up until class 12th, which is basically the last year of school.
Yeah.
And even now, imagine I studied for JEE, right?
Yeah.
Which,
and now you're pharmacist.
Yeah, now I'm in the final year of pharmacy.
And that too, you are writing stuff. I don't really see you
Yeah.
or whenever
Look,
I talk to you, you never talk about pharmacy. Every time you talk about writing stuff.
exactly. Like I, I would, I can easily admit that I am not the brightest student and not the best student in my class, not even by a far stretch,
Hmm.
which I actually really struggled with, because I was up until this point, like when I got into college, I
Yeah.
had never failed. Like
Hmm.
I had a couple of years, couple of examinations in which I had bad marks,
Hmm.
but like the worst marks I ever got was like 63%,
Oh.
which is still not that bad. Like you are 20% clear of the failing percentage,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so when I came into pharmacy and I
Hmm.
realized that I was only one of the two students who did not study bio,
Oh.
I was so horror stricken and like I was miserable for the first year because I
Hmm.
was like, how am I this bad?
Hmm.
I had never failed, and now consecutively in last 3-4 months
Hmm.
before my admission into the college,
Hmm.
I did not had a good rank in JEE. I did
Hmm.
not had a good rank in a couple of other competitive exams.
Hmm.
I could not give the exam for WBJE because my age wasn't sufficient.
Oh.
And so it was like all of a sudden I'm failing like 2, 3, 4, 5 exams consecutively.
Uh.
And when you think about it, it's not really even failing
Hmm.
because I am one student in 20 lakh other students that have given that exam.
Hmm. It is not. It's not about failing. It's about not getting selected.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
a failure. It's just not the top percentile.
Hmm.
But you don't know that during that moment
Hmm.
because for last 2 years, all you have been studying is okay. I need to get into this particular college,
Yeah. Yeah. That
and
has
when
become your life
yeah,
aim. Everything.
and when that doesn't happen, and I was studying so hard for that. Like I had my first class begin at 5 a.m. and my last class finished at 10:30 p.m.
Hmm.
and there were like three breaks in between that of
Hmm.
1 hour each.
Hmm.
So like I was grinding it out so bad for 2 years,
Yeah.
missing out on all the fun stuff that I could have been doing. Basically
Hmm.
had no social life.
Hmm.
And then to not get selected in the one college that you were studying for.
Hmm.
Obviously, the odds were against me because I am one, it's like 1 in 2.2 lakh people that
Hmm.
I will get selected.
Hmm.
But when you don't get selected, you feel like a failure.
Yeah.
And so एक ही बार में like
इवन दैट एज और उस समय में कुछ
yeah
टूटता है तो बहुत ज्यादा.
exactly at that age it's like looking back at it now I'm like I was very stupid
Hmm.
but at that point I was so broken like आज तक मैं फेल नहीं हुआ आज 5 बार फेल हो चुका पिछले 4 महीने में और अब मैं क्लास में सबसे खराब स्टूडेंट हूँ what the hell is
Hmm.
going on
Hmm.
and yeah so like that really caught up with me very bad and like पहले दो तीन semesters 4 semesters were such a mess.
Hmm.
And like even now, I'm like barely making it to the average.
Okay.
So yeah, our education system was very fucked, and
Hmm.
this was something that I really think was needed, like was
Yeah.
desperately needed.
Hmm. Saying that, I don't think there isn't any loopholes or it is a perfect bill. There are loopholes. Like I want to discuss that too.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely look. I just want to say this in general.
hmm.
Nothing or no one can ever be perfect.
Yeah.
If you think you are perfect, then you basically are restricting yourself from going further.
Further. Yeah.
अगर तू बोल देगा मैं सबसे अच्छा हूँ तो तुम्हें रूम फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट तो रहा ही नहीं ना
Hmm. Hmm.
बिकॉज यू आर लाइक
तो
ओके आई एम द
सबसे अच्छा
बेस्ट
क्या भगवान बन गया.
या एग्जैक्टली यू आर लाइक आई एम द बेस्ट बट
Yeah.
then how do you improve
Hmm.
while at the same time the person who considers himself a fool or
Hmm.
the person who considers himself good but not the best will
Hmm.
have more
Always
hunger
improve.
because he will aim to be the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, our education system, this even new policy will
Hmm.
probably not be the
Best.
perfect, but it will be good. It will be an
Yeah,
upgrade.
it's good. Yeah,
So yeah, that went on for so long.
yeah. Nothing much related to NEP, but much
Yeah,
much
yeah,
related to our childhood.
yeah. Okay. This genuinely, I feel like this podcast episode should just be called Utkarsh Therapy. So, coming to the second topic we had in hand,
Yeah.
one thing I was actually thinking about the other day,
Hmm?
we, especially me, in three of us, I'm
Yeah.
so bad at segues.
How?
Like, you have heard other podcasts, right? They have
Yeah.
such a smooth transition planned for going one topic to other topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never have. Like, I'm just not witty enough to actually come up with a segue. I'm like, ठीक है ये topic discuss कर रहे हैं and now we are into the next topic.
Okay. So
It's
let's make something. Let's make some code word to getting transition. Like,
I don't look. I don't want to make. I just thought of some transition, but I don't
hmm.
want to use that because I think it's really cringe. Anyways,
Okay.
so no, wait. I have a trend. I have a transition.
Okay.
So
Okay.
from discussing one dead trend, we are here
Hmm.
to discuss another dead trend and led to another party, which is the trend of Binod.
Oh, that. I
What
think.
the hell was that? That's all I want to ask.
See, I like many non-contextual memes. It was a non-contextual meme. There wasn't something funny, but the memes which were being made was funny. But in today's world, I think the quality of memes are just degrading because of becoming mainstream. And I want to say add one thing that if a meme is being featured in RVCJ meme, you must have to think that it is dead. It is just not funny enough. Yes. like Binod was a meme, and after a week, another meme pattern has just arose. That was Rasi. That music.
No, I don't think I've heard
It
of
it
that.
is it has been trending. Like Rasi. I can't try.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, one musician is there. I don't
Yeah.
remember his name. He has made.
One producer basically remakes the dialogues of one TV serial,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
funny enough. There was very
See,
funny memes, but
being the boomer I am,
hmm,
I'm not. I mean, to make it very clear to the listeners, I'm not a boomer, but I usually feel like a boomer trapped in a body of a Gen Z or whatever it's going on. Anyways,
okay.
being the very antisocial person I am,
Hmm,
I know of this trend.
hmm.
I haven't yet seen the video, or
But
I haven't even
I have
watched
seen many
the
memes.
meme.
My half days just pass out to seeing memes and memes and memes. Whether in subreddit, Facebook, Insta, I just love.
Yeah, see,
I think I could do PhD in memes also. I seriously feel that.
see,
And
this
coming,
is why I want to confess something.
uh,
This is one of the biggest reasons I chose you and Somyo to do a podcast with me, because
okay.
I don't know shit about anything that's going on. Like, obviously I know what memes are trending,
Hmm.
but like I don't see them much.
Oh.
I know that this thing is catching up. Like, this thing is
Hmm.
trending right now,
Hmm.
but I don't know what really it is about.
Yeah.
Like, only just yesterday, I think, my sister had to explain to me what this was.
Binod.
No, the that Rashi thing.
Rashi. Oh.
Like, मेरे को just कल, and she was like, "How do you not know things?"
Yeah.
Because in my house, my screen time
Hmm.
is more than anyone else.
Oh.
And
Hmm.
even after having such ridiculous screen time, she's like, "How do you not know? क्या करते हो आप
But I
पूरे
think sometimes not knowing is also fun. Certain memes are there.
it's definitely fun because look, you will always know memes from
Hmm.
Reddit
Hmm.
or from other social media like
Insta.
Facebook or
Yeah.
Twitter.
Hmm.
Now, I I have two accounts for Twitter, you know.
Oh, I never knew.
Yeah, so one is the Twitter account that is linked with this podcast that I mentioned in the podcast bio.
Hmm.
I very rarely use that Twitter क्योंकि वो मेरा काइंड ऑफ से सीरियस ट्विटर है वो मेरा
Okay.
and I make like one tweet in 3-4 months
Hmm.
and then I disappear. And
Oh.
I don't even open that Twitter account anyway because
Oh.
since it's very serious, like it's
Hmm.
the people I follow are actually serious people.
Hmm.
So my timeline is usually full of opinions,
Okay.
and I hate opinions because I disagree with a lot of things, and I am very passionate about things I think about.
Oh.
तो अगर मेरा ओपिनियन किसी के साथ क्लैश होगा, इट्स सो इजी टू गेट इनटू एन आर्ग्यूमेंट.
Oh.
And people on Twitter are not people on real lives.
Yeah.
Like Twitter पे सब हार्ड है यार,
Hmm.
सबके ओपिनियन बिकॉज
सबका
दे
अपना
नो.
फ्रस्ट्रेशन है, अब फ्रस्ट्रेशन
या
निकालने के
या
लिए कुछ तो मोड चाहिए.
ट्विटर इज escapism at its best.
Yeah. Hmm.
Everybody is just trying to escape from their own life, except for the
Every
people
social
that are
media, I think
actually
every
famous.
social media is like that.
Yeah. And which is one of the bigger reasons that I'm not on most social media platforms.
Hmm.
Like, when I post on Instagram is the only platform that I'm actually active on.
Hmm.
And when I Insta पे भी post करता हूँ, then it's very rarely because of, okay, I want to post.
Hmm.
It's mostly because, man, I have these many followers and I haven't posted in so many months. एक post तो डाल ही देते हैं. And then to find that one picture that I want to post, I scroll for like an hour because I don't. Obviously, since I do not indulge in social media,
Yeah.
I'm also not clicking pictures enough.
Hmm.
And then I'm like swiping for to find one good picture in past 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then I'm like, हाँ ये ठीक लग रही है. So
और हम पोस्ट भी करते तो हम लोग को लगता है क्या ओपिनियन हो, हमें वो चीज रहता है कितना लाइक्स आएगा वो. That
No,
thing is always there in mind.
yeah, see, that thing used to get to me really bad. Like, of course, for the people who don't know, I have had a poetry book out like 4 years ago now.
Hmm. Okay.
And obviously, since that was my debut book, in my head, I did not really expect much from it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, nobody really knows me. And there are like basically 10 to 12 people which are in my really close group of friends who know that I can write.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest, at that point, about 70% of the things that I wrote, I'm really embarrassed of them right now.
Why?
Because I don't think, like, अभी मुझे लगता है वो मेरे potential से बहुत नीचे है.
Oh.
Now I know I can write better.
Okay.
Maybe it's because of the amount I have grown as a writer, but I genuinely feel embarrassed and I feel cringed at what I wrote.
Oh.
Like,
तुम जब बुक पोस्ट किया तब हमको लगा था कि तब हमको पता चला कि तुम लिखता भी है.
Yeah, see, exactly what I'm saying. Look, my group of friends is like 3 or 4 good people, like जो बहुत close होंगे, and the rest of them, like उसके बाद फिर 10-15 लोग ऐसे होंगे जो हाँ अच्छे फ्रेंड्स हैं जिनसे मैं बात करता हूँ, एंड उसके बाद 50 ऐसे लोग होते हैं जिनसे मैं हाय हेलो के आगे कुछ बोलता नहीं.
ये तो सबका साथ होता है सही.
या नहीं, मेरे साथ ऐसा बहुत ज्यादा है. लाइक मेरे साथ सिर्फ 10 से 15 लोग ही हैं जिनसे मैं एक्चुअली हाय हेलो के बात कर सकता हूँ. अदरवाइज आई एम लाइक ना, नॉट हैपनिंग. सो नॉट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल नो, लाइक किसी को नहीं पता था कि मैं लिख सकता हूँ. सो obviously I'm not actually embarrassed by the poems I put in that book, because at that time जो मेरी उस बुक में poems थी, those were some of my best work at that time. So वो अभी
शुरुआत करोगे तो obviously शुरुआत करोगे तो कहीं पे भी जाओगे.
Obviously like उस बुक में जो poems हैं वो उतनी खराब नहीं है, but at that time they were like my best works.
Okay.
So in my head when I published that book, I was like, I'm not expecting anything from it. मेरे फैमिली मेंबर्स तक को नहीं पता यार कि मैं लिखता हूँ, तो मैं क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकता हूँ बुक से. एंड आई पब्लिश द बुक जस्ट फॉर द फैक्ट कि ठीक है पब्लिश करना है.
पब्लिशर मिल गया तब अच्छा है.
ये पब्लिशर भी नहीं था यार, सेल्फ पब्लिश था उस टाइम पे. तो इट वाज वन ऑफ दोस थिंग्स कि लाइक यू नो आई मेरे अंदर हमेशा टेंडेंसी रही है, आई वांट टू बी फेमस. एंड नॉट एज इन फेमस कि ठीक है कुछ भी करके फेमस, as in I want to be the person who people can learn from. Not because I know so much they can learn from me, but because they can learn from my experiences.
Okay.
And I am a very self-critical person because of that. Because I'm like, अगर मुझे कोई देखेगा, what will they think? Like before I say anything, I'm like, मेरे दो वर्जन है, एक जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ और एक जो मैं बाहर से अपने आप को देख रहा हूँ.
लाइक सेल्फ क्रिएट, खुद से कंपाइल किए जा रहे हैं.
या आई एम वेरी सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्टिव. सो आई हैव ऑलवेज वांटेड टू बी दैट फेमस पर्सन. एट द सेम टाइम मेरी राइटिंग्स में कभी किसी को नहीं दिखाता था. लाइक देयर विल बी वन और टू वेरी क्लोज फ्रेंड्स ऑफ माइन जिनको आई विल बी लाइक, देख मैं ये लिख रहा हूँ, इज इट गुड, इज इट नॉट, उस टाइप का. I would never be the person that देख मैंने ये लिखा है क्या अच्छा लिखा है. I would just be like
insecurity होता है
मेरा बहुत. I am very insecure as a writer. Even now when I will consider कि ये मेरा सबसे अच्छा वर्क था, I will ask those 2 or 3 people कि like ये कैसा है, अच्छा है या नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम्स है, ये वाला पार्ट अच्छा लिखा है या नहीं है, ऐसा. So when I put out that book, nobody really knew. मेरे घर पे भी नहीं पता था लोगों को. And the only reason to put out that book was I want to be famous. And I will never be famous if I don't take steps towards it. मैं नॉर्मली पढ़ के कॉलेज की डिग्री लेके जॉब करके फेमस नहीं हो सकता.
mediocre life.
It's not बेकार life.
Yeah, it is like.
But that's just not the life that I want to be in. Because I don't think I am good at like switching on at a scheduled time. I am. देख दो तरह के लोग होते हैं, हार्ड वर्कर्स
and smart workers.
Not smart workers, creative people.
Okay.
Now, very big misconception is the fact that being creative is better than being hardworking. नहीं.
Different domain.
Yeah, those are very equal things and those are equally good. It's just 2 different types. मैं तेरे को एग्जांपल देता हूँ, क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो और मेसी. Even the people who don't know football know about those 2 people. And as a football fan, Messi is a creative person. Like he's a creative footballer.
He's very talented.
Yeah, he is naturally talented about that thing. And he's a creative player. वो बहुत भागेगा नहीं, वो बहुत ज्यादा काम नहीं करेगा. His work rate might not be that high, but because उसके दिमाग में एक ऐसी चीज है, he thinks in a way which nobody else is thinking, and that's why he's successful. Whereas Ronaldo is equally as successful as this person just because of his raw athleticism and by the amount of work that he has put in.
Yeah, he is very hardworking.
Yeah, like so you can be the best at something just by working hard as well. So those 2 things are equally. But क्या है, when I'm creative, I cannot do my best work at a scheduled time. When you are hardworking, मैं अगर तेरे को बोलूंगा सिद्धांत, like say you are a hardworking person, and तेरे को मैंने एक शेड्यूल दिया कि तुझे 9 बजे से 7 बजे के बीच में यही काम करना है, and do your best work within those hours from 9 to 7. You will put your blood and sweat into that 9 to 7 work, and you would put one of the best results out. And maybe you will go on to be a very successful businessman just because of that, because you have that drive to move yourself forward. On the other hand, there is me, who is a creative person. When you tell me to do the same work at 9 to 7, I will probably not be able to do because मेरा mood ही नहीं होता ना. I am not a hardworking person.
So you want to say that creative people are lazy?
Not necessarily lazy, but they don't have the drive.
Okay.
And that's not a negative thing to say. Like, not everybody is capable of everything.
Hmm.
Some people are good enough to have that drive. The people who don't have that drive
Hmm.
are equal because of their creativity.
Hmm.
ठीक है, तो लाइक तूने 9 से 7 में बहुत अच्छा काम किया, एंड इफ यू मेक मी वर्क 9 to 7, my production is like half, my productivity is like about half your productivity.
Hmm.
एट द सेम टाइम मेरा दिमाग चलना शुरू हुआ शाम को 8 बजे के बाद,
Hmm.
और फिर तूने मेरे से 8 से 12 के बीच में काम कराया, एंड आई एम लाइक इक्वल टू यू.
Hmm.
So that's the two type of people.
Hmm.
So I am very creative person, and to me as a creative person, I don't think अगर मैं एक normal life रहूंगा, normal life में रहूंगा, I will be as successful.
Hmm.
Like, it's just not the life for me. Not that it's a bad life to work a normal job. In fact, I will probably still work a normal job.
Hmm.
I can tell you that. But maybe that's not the best thing for me.
Yeah.
And if
Person to person, it's bad.
yeah. And if that's not the best thing for me, it is important for me to actually pursue things that I think can be good.
Hmm.
So अगर मुझे famous होना है, then I have to take a step towards it.
Hmm.
And so मेरे पापा को जब पता चला, my father has been a writer since 1992.
Oh.
Like
You knew that, or it
yeah,
was also
I have
hidden?
always known that. Like,
Okay.
writing is basically, it runs in my blood.
Oh.
Not, and I'm not saying that as a bragging thing. It just is like, my grandfather used to write, my father used to write, and now I am writing.
Okay.
It's just a coincidence, obviously, but yeah. So he has been a writer since 1992. He has penned some of his original songs. He used to write write in a newspaper back in his college days. He has written stories and essays and like short novels.
Hmm.
So he knows about that stuff.
Oh.
So when he got to know कि I can write as well, he was like, you should publish a book for yourself. At that time, he already had like 2 or 3 books out.
Oh.
So he was like, you should write a book. And at that point, I wasn't really sure. Like,
Oh.
I was such a reserved, I was so insecure with my writing that nobody really knew about it. And वो जो 2-3 person थे, they convinced me कि like, maybe you should have your own Facebook page. At that time, Facebook was at its peak. And being the dumb fuck I am, I did not even know how to operate Facebook. These guys made me a page. And they made the Facebook page for me. They asked me for a name, and at that time, somehow out of nowhere, I said a name. They made that
melody.
Yeah, exactly. Melody of words. I don't know how I came about with that name, but I just said, ठीक है, ये नाम अच्छा लग रहा है मेरे को. They made a Facebook page with that, and I used to post my poems there. फिर जब घर में पता चला, he was like, you should publish a book. And that's when I thought all of these things, ki like, okay, if I want to be famous, I need to do something. So I published the book. Within the first 3 months, I sold like 20 copies. At that time, 20 copies to me were like, okay, good. Like in my head, I was like, good, ठीक है. And then the competitive side of me came over, and it was like, लोग 1000 कॉपी बेचते हैं एक दिन में, तेरे से 20 कॉपी 40 कॉपी 3 महीने में बिकी है. What the hell? And that discouraged me for like a few months. And that has always been a side of me. So my Instagram वगैरह पे, obviously I had to make a business profile, because if I'm going to be a writer, I need people to see my work.
Obviously.
And the downside of creating a business account or a creative account on Instagram is you will always get insights. तो मैं ट्राई करता हूँ not to be as active, because I know अगर मैं active रहना शुरू कर दूंगा, then it will start mattering to me कि मेरे को कितना likes मिले.
कितने reach पे होता है
Yeah,
अपने reach
and
होता
this thing has happened now in the last couple of weeks.
है.
Abhi, I did not used to go on the our distribution platforms that much.
Hmm.
Last to last week, when I was talking to a potential guest,
Hmm.
he asked me like, "What are your numbers?"
Hmm.
Then I went to see like how the podcast is doing,
Hmm.
and then for a couple of days I was in that kind of mode कि like ये क्यों अच्छा perform किया, इसने क्यों अच्छा perform नहीं किया, and things like that.
Hmm.
Now obviously I'm trying not to get into that circle again.
Yeah.
Wait, what the hell? यार मैं कितनी बड़ी टेंशन पे जाता हूँ. हम लोग क्या किसी से गाना बात कर रहे थे?
It was
Binod.
Binod, I think.
Okay,
And
first of all, raise your volume.
Jai Hind.
Yup.
It is.
Yup. That's good.
So we
So,
were
yeah.
talking about
So,
dead meme. That
so
is
obviously,
Binod.
yeah, because I have been so off the social media,
Hmm.
I don't know what the hell is Binod.
Yeah.
Like
So
I
you don't know
I know
how
what is.
Binod came.
Yeah, I know that because obviously I used to watch Slay Point a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
know.
just watched that episode also, and I never thought that this kind of thing will become so
Yeah. And to me, it just does not make sense. I'm saying I'm a
Any
boomer
sense.
trapped in a kid's body.
Yeah,
To me, I'm like, क्या है ये? क्यों है ये?
yeah.
Like, just stop.
I after a point even I thought that it need to be stopped. Every time any
I got so
in any
frustrated.
Facebook live, I see a lot of even I have done that. Binodopi. After time, what the hell is that? Yeah.
Dude, I
Like,
got
it
so
needs to
frustrated,
be.
I started blocking people off. Like, I put up a status
Yeah.
that if anyone
Hmm.
ever replies to me with a Binod again, I swear to God, I'm blocking you.
Yeah.
And a couple of people thought that it was a joke.
And
And they replied, and I fucking blocked them. I was so pissed. I was like, what the fuck is
for
this?
meme just become a mainstream, it just die. It's the content it could be. There are many memes which were very good, but just after becoming mainstream, it has just died. We've seen that doggy meme that was trending.
Yeah. That alpha versus beta kind of thing.
Yeah. And so many copies were made that it just has lost all its content. It is no more funny either. Like if you just repeat a joke 100 times, it will never be funny. That's true about the memes too.
Yeah.
I think the meme pages and everything, everyone should.
I just noticed we have been recording. Sorry to interrupt you. I just noticed we have been recording for 54 minutes and we haven't even gone through half of our points.
Yeah.
So I guess we will discuss the rest of the points in the next episode. However,
Okay.
before we go, I wanted to discuss one last thing because if we miss this, it's going to be another thing that we are late to. And it is the JEE and NEET exam dates fiasco.
Yeah.
And that is something I really wanted to talk about because I have a couple of very close friends to me who are struggling because of this. What's your opinion? I don't even want to talk anymore because I feel like I have talked a lot this episode. So here's your stage. Go off. What are your opinions about the whole issue that has been going with these exam dates?
See, I was talking about the back that the NEP has some of the loopholes. I want to point specifically that this is only the loophole. That even in 2020, we are sitting in that pandemic, and we assume that a 3-hour paper could decide everyone's future. Again, if you are thinking of modernization of education and still focusing that NEET and JEE are only option for admission, then I think we are not going as.
Okay. I have a question for you. अगर JEE NEET नहीं हुआ, then how do you even know who is qualified enough to get into a good college or who is not qualified enough to not get into a good college? Because of like let's be honest, not everybody is a good student.
Yeah.
So how do you differ now?
See, the first issue is that it should be postponed because of the flood, and second, that your question is that another option should be there. There are a lot of options. The first, I think so that online exams could be possible. If not,
I
and
mean,
the
look,
second,
I am all for online examination, but
hmm,
at the same time, online examination can easily make people cheat,
hmm,
and at the same time, online
hmm,
exam, not everybody has a good enough connection. Like we are
agree.
having online classes now for our college,
Hmm,
and not everybody
hmm,
is able to connect because not everybody has a
hmm,
good connection.
hmm.
So that's
But
obviously going to be an issue.
But the major point is that even certain areas are flood ridden, and if
Hmm.
the examination in JEE and NEP could be postponed at least for November, then it will be better for these students also. And just yesterday, I've seen the cases are 75 plus in a single day, so that's very much threatening. And the vaccine, I think so. Even the Russian vaccine, or there are the Oxford vaccine, has been worked, and I am pretty sure that till December or November we will get a vaccine. So after that, we can easily conduct the examination. Because let's be fair that we can't start the new season before January or February. It is impossible. Even if we conduct
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
exam in this time,
Completely
it
agree
is
with that.
impossible. So just postpone it a little bit for the students' safety. And secondly, even NEET and JEE, we are focusing on NEET and JEE. There is another verdict of Supreme Court just came yesterday that the final UGC has means agreed to take final examination of every
Yeah,
student
yeah, yeah,
without,
yeah, yeah.
and that to me is like why they haven't even studied. Mm, I don't think even in your college also final year students any classes of final year students
Dude,
had been taken.
they have not been taking classes. At the
Hmm.
same time, I don't think a lot of them even know what were their subjects at this point.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And they have to, and some of them are placed. They have to join the company. For that, they need degree. But
Yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah.
that
I
um,
okay. I had this idea that maybe push the exams to October or November,
hmm,
and
hmm,
then take exams like not um, like take exams over 2 weeks.
hmm,
Like एक बार एक
hmm,
सेंटर पे बहुत कम बच्चे आएंगे,
hmm.
and take those exams in 2 weeks. Have 2 weeks of exams for like
Hmm.
different batches.
But again, we have to design so many of question papers.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah. I mean,
again, that
but at the same time, you have so many questions as well. You can
hmm,
easily develop all those different questions. I mean,
hmm,
look, on one hand, you have safety of students. On one hand, you
hmm,
have developing questions.
hmm.
I think there is a clear winner.
Yeah, obviously. And the major thing is that of NEET. I think JEE is conducting for a period of in a period of 1 week, but NEET is happening just for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a day, and the aspirants are more. So JEE first exam of JEE had been taken in January, so the aspirants are little bit less. But NEET, even they don't have online, they don't have computer-based exam. They have to give using pen and paper. Another
Hmm.
thing to worry about. There are many things to it, and we have examples of COMET exam that has happened in Karnataka. What bizarre and what is a terrible situation just happened, or even UP in UP state exam that conducted, and there
Hmm.
so many students just came. And if to be very fair, if you are giving any exam and attention is there, you doesn't care anything about the safety.
Yeah, and
That
there is a lot of risk involved in all the things
hmm,
that are going on.
Yeah, I think NEET exam should be at least NEET exam should be postponed. It is my view that even if you want to conduct JEE, you could because many are there saying that there are no many options left. So you could conduct, but NEET exam should be postponed. Uh, it is fair that you can't begin a session before January or February. So just
Yeah,
skip
yeah.
one semester. Even everyone knows that even first semester hardly anything has been taught. You could skip first semester, or you can skip the semester breaks that are held in April, March. So you could easily
Hmm.
cope up with that. It is not a big deal.
Yeah, I think definitely if you give us like within a semester or two, we can easily catch up if you skip
Hmm.
like a semester break or something.
Hmm. Some subjects could be skipped. That's very much. There are so
Yeah,
many
you can
analysis
definitely
factors.
adjust the syllabus to suit better.
Hmm. But the recent this means the major concern is about the safety of the students. So that should be taken in mind. And
Yeah, yeah.
plus, there are so many flood-ridden situation in our country, be it in Bihar, Northeast, and UP. Many places are there. How students would come then?
Yeah.
It is nearly impossible for them to come. Like everywhere, Sonu Sood can't go and help.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's
Okay, yeah.
maybe,
I think with that we will leave it there,
mm,
and we'll discuss a lot of other things in the next episode
yeah.
that we record. I don't know when it will be out.
Yeah,
And
okay.
if we don't have another episode out till the time the exam dates come, all the best to
Mm,
everyone who is appearing for
yeah.
JEE and NEET.
My
And
advice will be just study. Now, no need to just start a trend, or you have said a lot to the government. Just study,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
give your best. If you could go to examination, go. If you can't, it's just a year. Don't take it so seriously.
Yeah. And with that, we'll end it there. It was such a big tangent. It was a podcast full of tangents, to be honest.
Yeah,
And so
so
yeah,
many off
next time
topics.
I'll try not to go off in really random tangents, so we can finish the list of things we have
Hmm.
to discuss.
Hmm.
And hope to see you again soon with another episode. And up till then, goodbye.
Bye.